If you've ever stood in front of the dumbbell rack, pretending to read the numbers on the weights, while internally panicking, is this too light? Is this too heavy? What if I look stupid? Then we need to talk.
And if you've ever finished a set and actually thought to yourself, okay, I definitely could have done like a couple of more reps, that wasn't challenging at all. That's cardio with dumbbells, basically.
And then on the other side, you grab a weight. Rep 3 already feels chaotic. Your back joins the conversation. Your knees are negotiating with you. That's not strength either, my babe. So, why does everyone just say, go heavier, go harder, go stronger? Heavier than what? And based on what? So today we're going to give you a little system that's going to help you to put all of this into perspective so that you're not constantly second guessing yourself. And hopefully by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to choose your weights without ego lifting, because we don't want that,
Yeah.
without fear and without guessing all the time.
In our previous episode, we spoke about progressive overload, and basically, Zoe and I explained to you how you can get stronger over time with the correct structure and approach. But here's the truth. You can't progressively overload properly if your starting weight makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I think you need to think of it like setting an oven temperature. You're about to cook your roast. Anything too low, nothing's gonna cook. All the oven's gonna be on forever. And too high, everything's going to burn and you're just gonna have crunchy chicken. But you need the stimulus high enough to force adaptation, but it needs to be controlled enough to be able to maintain the form throughout. So today we are breaking down what challenging actually feels like during your workouts, the signs that you may be lifting too light, as well as signs that you could be lifting too heavy. And at the end, a simple 8 to 12 rep test you can use immediately to see how this builds confidence in the gym. So let's remove the guesswork and get straight into things. I want to start by saying that challenging does not mean sloppy, and it definitely does not mean collapsing. It does not mean nearly blacking out either at the end of your workout. It means controlled, sustained effort. That's what challenging actually means.
Yes. And this is where we actually introduce something called reps in reserve. But don't worry, it's not like a very complicated thing to understand. It's very simple, actually. It just means how many more reps could I have done if I absolutely had to? That's basically it.
Yeah. And if you just finished a set of 10 and think, I could have done 6 more, then your weight was definitely too light. And if you finish and think, maybe 1 or 2 more max, then that's your sweet spot.
And near failure actually feels like this. The reps slow down a lot. Your breathing rate changes. You
Yeah,
have to focus a lot more.
yeah.
Your muscle feels like it is burning, but your form stays intact. This is very important that your form stays intact because
Yeah.
that is a productive fatigue.
Now, here's something important for women, especially, right? So, muscle fatigue mostly refers to that burning sensation, tightness, or this controlled shaking. You know, when you're finishing your last 2 to 3 reps and your legs are shaking, and you're like, Lord, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. but Jesus, take the wheel, you know?
Oh, that's my favorite thing actually is the shake. I live for it.
And then you just have to stand still afterwards and like just wait for the vibration to leave your body. And joint strain, on the other hand, is in most cases a sharp pain that you're experiencing, some pinching, your lower back hijacking the lift completely so much that you feel like you can't move anymore. And if your joints hurt more than the target muscle, that is definitely not intensity. That's mostly compensation that is happening. And this ties directly into how mind and muscle connection works. And we spoke about this, I think, last year sometime. So you can go back and watch that if you really want to understand how to activate your muscles effectively. Because if you can't feel the right muscle working, then you will constantly be adding weight, but that won't fix anything. That will probably just hurt your joints more. So load amplifies what's already there. You should only be loading onto good technique because that gets you stronger, and bad technique is going to get you louder, which means like you're going to moan, you're going to complain, you're going to be in pain. It's just not fun.
Also, another thing is that if you are chatting comfortably mid-set, the weight is also too light. Now, we're not saying that you need to absolutely like not be able to speak because that also is not a good thing. But if
Yeah.
you like, my day was amazing, da da da, a little bit of gossip while you're doing your squats, then your weight it's too light. It's way too light.
Yeah. And if you finish and immediately reach for your phone, too light.
Too light.
Because none of us are doing that. We're taking a moment to not die.
Absolutely. And if you never once question whether you'll finish the set, the weight is also too light. When you get to
Yeah.
that third set or second set, even if you're only doing three sets and you get to that second set, you should be thinking like, am I going to make this next set? And the
Yeah.
same when you are on the third, pushing for the fourth, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because that
Yeah.
was challenging, you know?
Yeah. And if you start your first set and you feel it's too light, and you feel it's too light, there's nothing stopping you from walking back to the weight rack and swapping out your weights for the second set. That's also another
Absolutely.
opportunity for you to practice progressive overload as well as get the appropriate weight. And obviously, we don't want the burn to only show up in the final 2 reps. That's too mild. That's not the ideal stimulation that you're looking for your muscle. It's going to be so underwhelming, and your body adapts to the challenge, not to comfort, you
Yeah.
know?
And that's the whole point.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the other extreme, if your form changes halfway through the workout, then you are going too heavy for what you currently are able to do.
If you are swinging, bouncing, using a whole lot of momentum to get that dumbbell up or to move it, then it is way too heavy for you. And
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with taking a step back and lightening your
yeah,
load.
yeah. The only exercise that's acceptable for is a kettlebell swing.
Kettlebell swings, 100%.
If you feel it everywhere in your body except for the muscle that you are supposed to be working, then you are also going too heavy.
Too heavy. Yeah, for sure. And this is also something where you need to be mindful when it comes to the weights is that if your joints hurt a lot more than your muscle, then it is definitely too heavy and you on the cusp of a possible injury. That is
Yeah,
not strength training. That is purely you are going into survival mode. You are ego lifting actually.
yeah,
And if you constantly push like that, you're going to watch our burnout episode. You're definitely going to
yeah,
because you're going to come back here for the things that
yeah,
we warned you about, where were like, oh my gosh, I should have listened. Because
yeah,
the reality is that when you are lifting weights, intensity without a strategy 100% leads to absolute fatigue and not
yeah,
process, not
yeah.
progress.
Yeah, facts, Donaé. And we've seen it so often in the gym,
Mhm.
the ego lifters.
Mhm.
I'm going to mention something, and Donaé's going to know exactly who I'm talking about. There's a guy on the weights floor who goes on the lat pull down machine, and he will put that machine on the last pin, so the last
He
weight plate, the
maxes it out.
heaviest, yeah, like the heaviest. And he would just do this the entire time while he's doing his exercise. And I swear to you, everybody around him is like looking like waiting in anticipation and fear, actually,
Mhm.
that something
Something.
crazy is about to happen. And this
Yeah.
guy, he's patched up everywhere. He has this is not even funny. He has something for his shoulder that he wears. He has wrist things that he wears because he's constantly hurting his body. He's not trying to train to be effective or to
Yeah.
challenge himself. He's just ego
Yeah.
lifting. So that is definitely not the way forward, guys. It needs to be
Yeah.
challenging, but you should not be hurting your joints or scaring the people around you.
Yes.
So,
And also, like, beyond that, also is like, have respect for the equipment. Also,
yes.
you going to this gym. Like, I don't want to go to the gym and then the lat pull down is broken every other week because Bob
Yeah.
doesn't know how to use the machine properly
Yeah.
and he doesn't
Yeah.
respect it. Now the other members in the gym have to suffer because of that.
Yes.
Respect the equipment. I look at that man and I think this cable's gonna snap, and then that means
Yes.
gonna be one
Or the
less lap
plates are going to snap.
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and like throwing the dumbbells and like just not having respect for the equipment. It's also, yeah, don't be that person. Be
Yeah.
mindful of your movement so that you don't break the machines also, as much as you're
And
taking care of your joints.
and you're in a public space. Like,
Yeah.
have respect for public places that people
Mhm.
share. You don't
Yeah.
have to be throwing your dumbbells on the floor. After using your dumbbells, put them away.
Put them away,
Like,
please,
the
for the love of
fitness
God.
staff are
Put
there
them
to
away.
make sure that you are safe,
Mm.
and that if you need assistance with your lifting, or if you need
Mhm.
help with other fitness related stuff, they are not there to clean up after you. Yes, that is
Yes.
also part of their job, because they must make sure that the floor is clean so that people don't trip and fall, etc.
Mhm.
But their core job role is not to pick up and pack your weights
Weights.
away.
Yeah.
So if you can't pack
Yeah.
it away, you can't lift it.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
here's
Anyway,
the
we
system.
digress.
So we want to give you something that is simple and that is repeatable and that you can remember, right? So first you're going to go to your weight rack and you're going to pick a weight.
Mhm.
One that's in the middle of one that you know is too small, like 2 kgs. Don't even pick those 2 kgs up if you're doing bicep curls. I'm telling you now. And let's say 8 kgs.
I feel like you have some beef with 2 kg down. You have some serious beef because in
No,
our
because let me
previous
tell you
episode,
why. How
yeah,
often do you go to the grocery store and you buy sugar and you take a 2 kg sugar? You probably chuck that thing into your trolley like this. You know you can fling that 2 kg all across an American football field. So why are you trying to play with us? And why are you trying to play with yourself as well? Huh? Pick a weight that's going to make you feel like, oh, on that
but
last
why
4
not the
to
1 kg, Zoe? Why is your beef with a 2 kg?
No,
I'm
listen,
joking.
if you're going to do some rotational work with your shoulders, 1 to 2 kgs, go at it, my babe. That's an appropriate weight for that muscle. But I'm trying to hammer the point home that
Okay, got you, got you.
effectiveness is required in order to see results. And
100%.
2 kgs ain't going to bring you the
It's not it.
results you are looking for. And we are here to save you. So that's why. So after you've chosen your weight, you're going to aim for 8 to 12 reps. I would say in the beginning go for 10. Then you're going to ask yourself, could I have done 2 more? Just
Mm-hmm.
2 more, right?
Yeah, and if the answer is yes, then that's amazing. If you could have done five more, then it's too light, obviously. If you couldn't complete the set and your form has completely gone out the window, then your first choice was a bad choice because it was too heavy and you
Yeah,
adjust the next set. And that's how you collect data from your
yeah,
own sessions so you can plan them accordingly. Even if you're collecting it for yourself or if you're collecting it for your trainer, that's how you remove the emotional and the egoness, the ego from the equation.
yeah, yeah. I always ask my clients at the end of the set, like, how does it feel? Could you have done two more? How does the weight feel? If you were to rate the weight or the exercise between 1 and 10, on where would you put it? Like things like that,
Mm.
we use to get info from our clients, and I mean, I know you use it on yourself as well to feel like, that was a bit weak. I could have gone heavier. Or that was a bit too heavy. Feeling a bit in my back. Go lighter for the next set. It's okay to go lighter for the next set if you have
Yeah,
to go lighter for the next set. Form and technique is always going to trump the weight that you are using. But the
yeah,
weight that you are using must also meet the expectation of the moment.
yeah,
So, if this is already changing how you think about your workouts, then subscribe. I'm not going to tell
mm,
you again because this episode connects directly to progressive overload that we've spoken about last week and many other topics that we cover on the podcast, such as mind to muscle connection and burnout that I mentioned earlier. And next week, we're going to have a little bit of a catch up because we haven't done that in a long time. And I
yeah,
thought that we should just spend some time with you guys, answer some questions. So if you have any questions, you guys can write that to us. And yeah, so we're not giving random tips. We never do that. We're
yeah,
really trying to help you build a system so that when you are at the gym, you feel empowered. That was the whole reason why Danae and I started this, because we want women to have the information to
yeah,
go into the gym or to train at home, wherever you are training, to understand what it is that you are doing. Because when you understand something, you are more likely to stick to it and to
yeah.
also build on it.
Yeah, for sure. If you're finding yourself in a situation or a confusion where you are not sure whether you are a beginner or whether you are intermediate and you are still trying to figure all of that out, if you classify yourself eventually as a beginner, you don't need to be trained to failure. There is
Yeah.
absolutely no need for you to do that. You are still learning to adjust to the coordination, to fix your form, to learn all the cues. So you stay about 3 to 4 reps away from failure. So your reps in reserve would be 3 to 4. And your focus as a beginner is clean movement, good
Yeah.
form. You want to try and
Yeah.
get it as perfect as possible, which means that you move slowly and you take your time.
Or in most cases, you should not be feeling like, oh, I can't train for 2 weeks after your workout if you're in the beginning, because you shouldn't be really pushing. This is just about introduction, you know?
Saying that, sorry, Zoe. With
Go.
saying that, also, like there are a lot of people who lead a sedentary lifestyle for decades
Yeah.
upon decades. And if you are coming in after not having done any single movement, I mean, you don't even walk, you do nothing. And now you went to go and do a beginner's fitness class, be prepared to be stiff because your
Yeah.
muscles are going to get the shock of the absolute life. So you're definitely going to be sore. But
Yeah.
if you are somebody who's been doing a little bit here and a little bit there, your body knows how like what happens when it goes under stress and whatever, all of those things, and you go and you start to train in this, then for sure you don't want to be.
We must also state that intermediates, or like Danae just mentioned, if you've been doing this for at least 3 to 6 months, then you can push a little bit closer to failure, and you'll have 1 to 2 reps in your reserve because now you understand what good form feels and looks like.
Mhm. And then there's the advanced lifters who I'm pretty sure to get to this point, there's a lot of things that you had to learn and understand. Something called technical failure. So this is when the target muscle can't continue with good form and
Hmm.
not when your whole body starts failing. The nuance matters. So for
Yeah.
example, if you are specifically training your lats and you cannot engage it enough to a point where you on the lat pull down and your shoulders are rounding forward
Yeah.
because you actually can't get the weight down, then this is
Yeah.
it. This is a technical failure, and you
Yeah.
should drop the weight even as an
Or your
advanced lifter.
or
Yeah.
your biceps feel like they're burning like you won't believe.
Here's a repeatable framework that you could use. You pick your weight within your rep range. So, what this means basically is you need to judge if I do, if I take this 6 kg, how many reps am I going to be able to manage with this? It's going to be either between 12 and 15 with 8. Okay, if I do 10, how many am I going to be able to do here? This is going to put me
Mhm.
between this and that rep range. So, you decide where you want to maximize this movement or this session within weights. Is this a session where you are going to want to hit a new PB, which means that you're going
Yeah.
to do a weight that you've never done before? Then your rep range automatically shifts, and so does your starting weight as well. You
Yeah.
perform the set as well with absolutely strict form. You have to be strict on the form because everything we've mentioned previously, it still matters. You don't want joint pain, you don't want technical failure, you don't want any of those things. And then you assess the reps in reserve. So always be mindful of the fact that how much can I push more? Can I do more? Can I not do more? Is it between 3 and 4? Is it between 1 and 2? Then you'll
Yeah.
know if you can or if you can't. And you adjust the next set accordingly. And if your memory is good, you can log it mentally. If it's not, don't fool yourself. Make a note on your phone, buy a little notebook, write it down if you want to take this seriously and you really want to see some changes in not only your physique but also in your strength, then log it.
Yeah.
It's very important to log. And when you constantly finish with 2 reps left, then you can increase the load slightly in the following week. And this is what we call intelligent progression because you're being smart about it. You're applying all the basic rules that we have taught you and that you maybe know, and you've applied them. So you're being
Yeah.
smart, and that's good.
Yeah. You are the little scientist of your workout. So take
100%.
all the data sets that you have access to and use that to build like a workout for yourself.
Yeah.
And we want to tell you something that a lot of people don't want you to know. So, learning your weight selection builds confidence because when you stop scanning the room to see what everybody else is lifting, what everybody else is doing, you stop second guessing yourself. You start to trust your own assessment. You start walking more assertively because you're like, I'm going to get in, I'm going to go to the functional floor, I'm going to do my warm up, then I'm going to go downstairs to the weight section or wherever your weight section is, then I'm going to start with my legs, and then I'm going to do my upper body. You already know what your plan is. So because you know what your plan is, you already roughly know which weight range you're going to be working in, what size dumbbells you need in order to perform your exercises. All of these things brings you so much more confidence in your training, just by knowing what weight you need, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And this also gives you a sense of this strength makes me feel like empowered. I'm
Yeah,
walking in here, I have a plan. You're not doubting yourself and thinking, oh my gosh, this dumbbell is too heavy. Oh my gosh, this dumbbell is too light. Oh, I just finished the lat pull down. Now, where am I going to go next?
yeah,
Let me see what's available. That doesn't give confidence. That gives I'm confused and I don't know what I'm doing. And we don't
yes,
want that. We definitely don't want that. So you need to understand why this specific weight is the right weight for you.
yeah, for sure. So let's run that back quickly. Today you learned what challenging actually looks and feels like. You've learned how to know if you're lifting too light or if you're lifting too heavy, as well as the 8 to 12 rep test that you can use to find out if or when a weight is appropriate for you. And then lastly, the difference between beginner and intermediate intensity.
This week's action in your next workout is to pick one exercise, just one to focus on. Test this 8 to 12 rep range that we just gave you, and then ask yourself the following questions. Could I have done two more? Was that too much? You need to question the weight that you are lifting constantly, because this
Yeah,
builds awareness about where you are, what is your capacity, what can you actually do, and you building data about yourself so you can learn and your brain can
yeah.
actually understand.
Yeah, for sure. Please remember that pushing hard and pushing smart are not the same thing. And if you're serious about training intelligently, then and want to get all the tea about how to train better, how to train smarter, then subscribe because we are here to spill all of that tea. So drop a comment, tell us, do you tend to lift too heavy, too light, or not at all? So train with intention, live with strength.
We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.